Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters,
This is a journey into sound.
The fattest, funkiest tunes in town.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
All right. Good morning. Welcome. Greetings. Salutations. My name's Elaine Adams. Some people call me Stock Mom. And this is the Stockhouse U Pre-Market Morning Show. I designed the show because I wanted to make something that would help me as a trader prepare for the market every day. And I have to say, this is my favorite pre-market show, and I hope that one day it'll be yours too. We do top-down analysis. We talk about futures, indices, ETFs, individual stocks, news, trades, both good and bad, and our trading psychology. When I talk about charts, I'll be talking about it on a daily chart, if anybody that's wondering. If you want to talk, you have some questions, comments, you're more than welcome to come up on stage. We're not experts, we're not financial advisors, and we do not give out financial advice. We don't tell you how to trade, but we can help you understand why we take trades. I'm joined by some of my favorite people, and without them, this show would be nothing. Vanessa, Liv, Christopher, Fly, Alec, AR, Kit, welcome to the stage. Now, normally we like to start our show off with a quote. So I'll start, and then I'll allow everybody to introduce themselves and also say a quote. My quote today is by George Soros, and it kind of talks about something that me and Christopher were talking in our pre-market meeting. It's not whether you're right or wrong that's important, but how much money you make when you're right and how much you lose when you're wrong. For me, trading has always been about percentages, odds. I don't always win. I've never intended to always win, and that's not a part of my trading plan. Every day we come here and objectively try to take a look at the charts and see what we have coming up for the day. I put out a watch list every single day because that's how I trade. But I don't do it as soon as the market opens, because I take some time and I try to make the best analysis that I can and then make that move. And if I'm wrong, which I have been, I exit the trade and wait for a better opportunity. It's just that simple. I don't need to be right. I would like to make money. And so I'd like to bring that energy into the day-to-day. Christopher, do you have a quote for us?
Yeah, absolutely. And good morning, everybody. Hope everybody is liking the way the futures are looking right now. It's a little choppy in some sectors, but we'll get into that in a little bit. My quote today is going to be Zig Ziglar, one of my favorite salesmen. He's big on priming your pump. And if you know what that means as far as a business aspect, he's definitely somebody that I like to follow. The quote is, "What you get by achieving your goals is not as important as what you become by achieving your goals." And I just think it heavily relates to everything that we're doing on a daily basis. Like, we do this every day, for free. And it's to provide information because we think everybody can be profitable. We're trying to spread out this financial education and make everybody better. And through that, we create a legacy. And I'm just really thankful for everybody up here that participates on a daily basis. And let's continue to create this legacy.
Good morning, Liv. Do you have a quote for us today?
Yeah, I got a pretty calm quote. It's, "Be selective in your battles. Sometimes peace is better than being right." And I'm saying this for me personally. I know that I look at the market both ways, and I'm just at peace that it can go up or down. I just want to play it the way that's going to make me money today, and then tomorrow, and then every other day of the year. So I would rather have the peace of knowing that I made a good decision today than being like, yes, this is it. I was correct. It's kind of like your George Soros statement.
No, I love that. I think that's totally the energy we should be having. Good morning, Vanessa. Do you have a quote for us today?
Yes, good morning, everyone. Good decisions come from experience. Experience comes from making bad decisions. So, basically, like, sometimes you definitely have to make some bad decisions to make good decisions. And I think sometimes it seems like everybody's winning, but we definitely all take some losses here and there. But the most important thing is that you learn from those losses so that you can make better decisions in the future.
Good morning and welcome.
Exactly. I love that. Good morning, Alec. How are you feeling today, man?
Good morning, everyone. I'm feeling good. Liv, by the way, I heard you say good morning. I apologize. I didn't say good morning back. I was in the shower. And I guess I do have a quote today. It kind of goes on what Vanessa just said, that we all take losses. I would just say never forget why you started trading, and lean into that even through when you're down. Because if you lean into your motivations, you will come out on top.
Oh, I love that. Fly, aka Twan. How you doing, man? Good morning. We've missed you.
Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing?
We're all right. Do you have a quote for us today?
Yes, I have a quote. My quote is, everyone is not replaceable, so watch how you treat good people. Just treat people how you want to be treated. Business, personal, whatever it is, treat people how you want to be treated.
Yeah, that's a gem for sure. AR, good morning, man. How are you feeling today?
Morning. Morning. Yeah, no real quote from me, but I will say I really like what Vanessa had mentioned earlier. You're gaining that experience, right? Um, and I know for myself, yeah, I'm really learning about these markets and what they can do. And sometimes even with what you think is impossible, is possible. So yeah, it's a humbling thing, man. It's a humbling thing, but I'm right back up here today.
Beautiful. And we appreciate having you on stage. Kit, good morning.
Good morning, my friend. How are you?
I'm all right. Do you have a quote for us today?
I do. My quote is, if your right hand afflicts you, cut it off. Don't hold on to anything that doesn't serve you a purpose. So definitely let go of those things that are tethering you down to the things that don't make you greater. And, kick Tuesday's ass. Let's do it.
Absolutely. David, one of my best contributors from the Discord.
Hey, what's going on? How are you guys doing? I guess my quote is, no one ever went broke taking profits. I'd rather make $1 than lose $1.
I celebrate taking profits on a daily basis. That's the one for me for sure. And last but not least, Shabam, welcome. Good morning, man. How are you feeling today?
Good morning, Erin. Feeling well. My quote for today is a Buddhist proverb. It is, in each loss, there's a gain. As in every gain, there's a loss. And with each ending comes a new beginning.
I love that. Well, with that said, let's get straight into this. I want to talk about futures. So, first off, I think we're all kind of excited looking at what's going on with the NASDAQ. And so let's start there. Now, we've had this storyline continuing for a while. And what is the name of this storyline? The storyline is volatility. It is market froth. It is, which direction are we going? And if you look in the past, let's say 2-3 weeks, we've seen this bearish downtrend, right? We crossed a bunch of moving averages. And we had a bunch of news that said, well, economically, we might be concerned. A lot of people were worried about inflation. We're worried about the 10-year rate. We were worried about what the Fed chair was going to say. And none of those concerns are completely gone. But with that said, if we look at the way the market has been recovering, and as we look through our sectors, I think we're seeing some resiliency. As we start to look at our trades and the themes that have been going on recently, I think the themes have been reopening trade. The themes have been, we're trading the things that Biden's going to start promoting with his, with his legislation. The themes have been, growth is not dead. And so yesterday I came in and I said, if we hold over 13,000 on our NASDAQ futures, I absolutely could be bullish. And what did we do? We held over 13,000. And right now we're facing a fairly, um, pivotal moment where we're looking at our 50-day moving average on the daily chart. And I'd love to see us hold above that. I think that's our next, resistance that I'd love to see turned into a support, and just get us into this uptrend. Honestly, let's keep on going. And on top of that, I just want to say from yesterday's candle, we did beat some of the highs, right? There's still a lot of chop to the left of the chart. And I mean, until we get past this 13,400 region, I mean, I'll be a Super Bowl. But the thing is, you don't have to wait till things are at an all-time high to have some sort of, to have an inkling of bullishness. I think that at this level, I'm absolutely looking to see if we're going to continue this trend. I'd love to see us establish support here. We could trade sideways for a little while. That would be okay with me. But if I look at what's going on in the rest of the market, S&P at all-time highs, Russell at all-time highs, Dow Jones at all-time highs, and then I look at the NASDAQ in context with that, it's really hard to find your bearish case right now. And I'll say this, even though I said let's all look at the daily chart. If we look at the weekly chart, I mean, if you look at the weekly chart on the NASDAQ futures, it's a pretty clear storyline at this point, right? We're not crossing moving averages. We've had a double bottom and a bullish retracement is what I'm looking at right now. And so I'd love to see that story pan out. Let's go on over to the S&P 500. So here we have the S&P 500. I mean, we're breaking out. Not only are we breaking out, we're breaking out with volume. And these are the things that I kind of want to see. Now, once again, I still feel like there's some hesitation. If we look at the size of these candles, if we look at the overall volume, it's definitely a little bit lower than it was a few weeks ago. And I think that hesitation has a lot to do, honestly, with what's going to happen tomorrow. I think Jay Powell's dovishness and the way that he's approached the market has given people some, hesitancy. He didn't say anything about Operation Twist. I mean, he's been fairly direct about what it is that they expect, which is that they're expecting inflation to rise. We're expecting these 2% levels. And the real question is, what do they expect our economic outlook to be based off of that? So with that said, I think that if we can get some positive remarks from Jay Powell on Wednesday, I think that as we continue to see these reopening trades play out, I think we could really see some momentum here, and continue this breakout. Right now, we're sitting at 3,954. We closed yesterday at 3,958. Oh, sorry. We closed yesterday at 3,958. Right now, we're sitting at 3,961, 0.08% increase on the day so far. But once again, we've been trading inside of this range between 3,900 and 3,800 since February. And to sit on top of this, that's all I need. I would love to see us establish a resistance as a support. That is one of my big bullish indicators, to be honest. And it allows me to look for the upside. And we'll talk more about that when we look inside of our sectors and really see these storylines playing out. Let's go on over to the Russell briefly. So the Russell we had closing in at, let's see here. Russell futures closed yesterday to 2,355. Right now we sit at 2,348. 0.28% decrease, but we've been trading between 2,200 and 2,300 once again since the beginning of February. So for us to be sitting on top of 2,300, looking towards the upside, I still consider that bullish. Now, later on in the news, we'll talk about, debt ratios for these companies, and a lot of the small caps have been putting off debt problems. And we're going to see that play out as well as some of the, the fiscal help that's been happening for small businesses is either increased or goes away as we move away from stimulus of that type. But with that said, these are the storylines we should be looking for. And inside of that, there's a momentum story going on here. I think that the market exuberance could be something that we're going to want to follow. I mean, all the fear that we've talked about in the markets, regardless of that, does that stop me from trading? Did that stop me from finding companies that I looked at and thought had value or growth potential? No, not at all. I'm looking at all of these indices and I'm saying, I see potential here. And yes, all-time highs does mean something. It does mean you should be prepared for a pullback. It does mean you might want to be prepared for consolidation. But with that said, the overall economic outlook of these things for me, currently right now, I'm looking up. I'm looking towards the upside. Shivam, how do you feel about the futures today, my friend?
I'm going to continue wearing my bearish hat, and one of the reasons for one of the reason for that is I think each time I'm wearing a bearish hat, we are turning into a good bull day. So I'm definitely going to continue wearing the bearish hat. My thing is, if we are able to cross the 405 to 409 figure on SPY, I'll feel a bit more confident that okay, it's definitely a run which we are into. And there's an hypothesis for it, right? There's going to be a lot of contract sell-off in next couple of days, or at least by Friday, complete contract sell-off is going to happen. If that volume of sell-off of contracts is higher than anticipated, which could be 8 billion, 10 billion or up, I'm not sure, pure hypothesis, right? We can see a reversal of S&P 500 back to the 3800, 3820 mark, which now technically for everyone will look like a reversal of a good amount of base points, but honestly, our last mark was 378. So we are still in the green if you look at a net to net average. And that's where my case is right now. I'm going to observe today's day. I'm happy to know that Jerome Powell is not speaking today, he's speaking tomorrow. So at least another good day can happen. But I am very pragmatic and a bit pessimist, to be honest, for Wednesday to Friday time period.
Ooh, interesting. Conflicting views. I'm into it. I'm looking at this thing on a weekly chart. I see the doji that we have right now, and I'm loving the hesitancy. I think that, I'm looking forward to some bullish things after Jay Powell's statements, if it does indeed go that direction. Who else is looking at futures with us? I like these conflicting points.
I am taking a gander at the futures. I firmly believe that until 2, we're going to see probably a little nice, like sway back and forth. I noticed the Dow can't make up its mind. NASDAQ was sitting pretty around 0.50, and S&P has been fluctuating a little bit. But I just can't wait to see. My portfolio is like evenly balanced in red and green. So hopefully I'm going to play around that today and make some profits.
I love that. Anybody else have a futures take? Okay. Well, with that said, let's move on to our next segment, which is
All right, guys, it is time for trash trade. So you know how it goes. If you made like a not the best trade in the world, go ahead and raise your hands. We'll talk about it. You know, maybe you bought some puts and you thought it was going to go down yesterday. At the beginning, looking at market sentiment, maybe that didn't work out. I'm going to start. So as far as trash trades, I finally had to let go and break up with somebody that just wasn't doing what I needed them to do. So my trash trade was ITP. I had it at an average of 68 cents. I saw it at like $1.15, didn't sell it. It pulled back, of course. I sold it, I want to say yesterday for like 73. And now that I'm looking at it, it's at 75.13. But it's like it's been playing with my money a little too long. It was time for me to break up with it and move on and find gains somewhere else.
I have a trash trade. I have a good one. Another lesson learned, honestly, and that's where it's very important to look at your net profits or loss at the end of the day. I had put an order on Friday for MicroStrategy, right? And a very bullish order. And the reason for that was a couple of call options. And I was feeling that this weekend, stimulus and everything was coming up. Bitcoin is going to go through roof. 61, 62 is going to happen, which it did. But then it came down thanks to my home country creating some news around that. And I paid high premium on MSTR, and I'm currently almost 65 to 70% down. I'm going to cut the cord today, but yeah, that did happen. MSTR was a big one for me.
Anybody else?
For whatever reason, as soon as I got in the SPY and decided to say, screw you, I'm going back the opposite direction. So I don't want to necessarily say it's my dumbass trade, but I might have taken a dumbass position on it, thinking it was going to go one way, and it actually spotted and decided to say, "Nah, we're going the other way." So I actually have a couple of options that I got like right when all of the stuff just started kind of going topsy turvy, and it's just like, eh. Normally, I would have some, level of crying, and no crying this time. It's just like it's just rolling with the punches. It's cool.
It's okay, Kit. We've all done it. And we changed to trash trades, so we don't want anybody to feel insulted or anything like that. It's just we all make bad trades, and you're not alone there. Um, I don't I don't really have a trash trade, but I actually made the same mistake that it's like my number one mistake, which is trading distracted. And it really actually is related to something that happened last week where I made so much money on Jumia. I saw that price. I was so happy to see them pop up. I talked about it quite a lot. And last Thursday, I definitely cashed in on that. And so, of course, I continued to build onto that position. I mean, I took profits. I obviously took profits, but I built into that position as well moving into Friday. And we saw a pretty decent pullback. And so it was just some market exuberance on my part of, I mean, I'm normally and primarily a day trader. And so I trade weekly contracts. And I tell everybody, hey, on Thursday, Friday, you do not really want to hold weekly contracts, those that expire that day. It's a dangerous position to be in. And if things move sideways or God forbid they go down, just everything will move against you fairly quickly. And so I was doing that, and I just got way ahead of myself, and I definitely took some pretty big losses. Now, mind you, I also took some farther out contracts, which are up today, but I probably lost half of what I made on Thursday, just being exuberant and trying to capitalize on a move that I didn't know whether or not it was going to happen. Now, the long-term trend, I still strongly believe in, but in terms of catching, inter and intraday price, between a Thursday and a Friday, I didn't know it was going to happen, and I played that way too aggressively. So that's my trash trade. Anybody else?
I have one. Probably might be one. It's in the future. I had 389 spy puts for this Friday. So I'm just sitting back, most likely gonna just sell them today just because it's too far out. I don't see it retracing back to 389 that quickly. But that's it. My theta isn't too bad yet, so I'm thinking about probably selling them at the end of the day.
Yeah, I feel that. Now, playing spy is something I really try to watch out for those, kind of spiky moves that we see based on economic news. Speaking of economic news, I really want to talk about the retail and food services report. Hey, Easy, welcome to the stage, man.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing? I had one quick question on these trash trades. Um, did you make a mistake? Not, I ain't just talking to you. I'm just saying, period. Did you make a mistake? Did you just lose, or were you following your plan?
I think we all have different answers for that. Um, I can speak to mine and say that I would call that a mistake. The plan was correct, but part of my plan is to not trade weekly options that expire on Friday unless I'm 1,000% sure of market direction. So I sort of exited entirely out of the weeklies and moved on to the monthlies that I was looking at, and that would have been the right way to play that, because overall the direction is up, and here we are two days later after that up again, right? So for me, I think I got way too excited, and then also kind of trading distracted, which just leads me to hold on to things that I probably wouldn't have held on to had I really been paying full attention. But these days I'm always doing 6 things, and so that was my mistake. I think everybody's got a different answer for that though.
Yeah,
And go ahead, Easy.
no, the only comment that I was making is like I tell people all the time, it's not really whether you win or lose, it's if you follow your plan. If you followed your plan, I mean, like you had said, 1,000%. We really never 1,000%. I don't care how good you are, but if you follow your plan, win, lose, or draw, I mean, it's your plan. I mean, you follow your strategy. I mean, I understand about the 1 day contract or whatever. And I understand definitely about the distractions. And you probably got a whole lot more these days. But yeah, that's why I was just asking that because, as long as you follow your plan, I feel like, it's a good trade, win, lose, or draw.
No, I appreciate that. And I think that's why we like incorporated this segment. A, to show the humanness of it doesn't matter who you are, how good of a trader you are, we all make mistakes. And then B, how do we intend to fix that? How do we intend to be better? And so I use this as a place to improve myself, to be honest. And I hope everybody takes that way as well. And this isn't something to insult people. This isn't something to make jokes about it. It's a place where we can come and just be honest about what's going on. And with that said, welcome. Welcome to the Stockhouse U Pre-Market Show. This is a safe place. We don't give out financial advice, but we do try to give an objective overview of the market. We do top-down analysis. We talk about the sectors. We talk about ETFs, news, our trades, sometimes trash, sometimes amazing. And we talk about the psychology behind those trades. And if you appreciate that, ping some friends into the room. If you have something to add, hop on stage. We'd love to have you. If you want to be, notified every time we have a meeting like this, click that little greenhouse on the top left. Follow the mods on stage so you can be alerted whenever they come on stage and do something. And with that said, let's keep it going. I really want to talk about SPY. So, looking at SPY today, this is once again, I think what we were all looking for. That 396 close. And so I'm sitting here looking at 396. And for me personally, as long as we're going to hold over this level, the number's 400, right? I put it in the title. That's what I'm looking for. Now, if we hold under this, I mean, we've been trading between 391 and 394 for a while. And there's nothing wrong with that either. That has been a place where we've seen some resistance. Back 2-3 weeks ago, that's where we were posted as well. We took a little bit of a retracement, and here we are sitting right back up at that level again. But to break over 395 and hold there, remember, one day is not a trend, right? So I don't care about one day either. But if we go back and look on a weekly chart at the bullishness of last week's candle, and then put that in context with what's going on here today, I would love to see us continue to hold this uptrend. I think we're showing a great sign of momentum. And for me, this is what I'm looking for. 396, my next level. I'm really looking at 398 and 400. I know some people are waiting to see 405 and 406. And my real question for that is, do you need to see things at all-time highs in order to have a bullish momentum? And if you do, then you'll always be waiting for things to get to all-time highs. But if we can look at this and say this retracement was pretty strong, we didn't see the 50 cross the 100, and on top of that, look at the bullishness of this last candle here. Look at the pattern that's been developing. I mean, we engulfed 1, 2, 3 weeks in a 1 week candle. That's what I like to see for my bullish momentum, particularly. Moving on over to the Qs real quick. I think it's kind of a similar story here, where I said yesterday I'd love to see us hold over 317. And right now we're sitting at 318. Sorry, we're sitting at 320. We closed yesterday at 318. right? And so once again, this is giving me a little bit of a case for the bullishness. Now, I do want to see us hit that 50-day moving average and stand above it. That'll be at the 320 level. And as long as we can open and stay up here, I'm looking for the next leg up again. Now, mind you, this is the NASDAQ, so it's a little bit of a different storyline, right? But when you compare it, this is an entire market. A lot of the stocks in the NASDAQ are in the S&P 500. They're in the Russell. And I'm looking at this and saying, I see so much momentum in other sectors and these other indices. I'd love to see it carry on over here. And if I'm looking at it, this is the one that has the room to run right now, right? SPY, all-time highs. Russell, all-time highs. Dow, all-time highs. Continuing. Dow's been at all-time highs for the past week and change. So I'm really looking to see if this NASDAQ recovery is going to continue. And right now we're holding the levels that I would have liked to see to have that. Anybody else looking at Qs or SPY with me?
Yeah, so I was definitely looking at SPY last night with a few friends, and we were looking at that retracement after that small dip around 10:30. I can't remember what the retracement was. I think it was like down to was it 380, something like that, and then bounced back up, and then reestablished that support. Right, so immediately it dropped down, and then came back and leveled off at that support. So I thought that was a great a great sign short term. So we were just saying, hey, echoing off of what you said, establishing that bullish trend. Um, if we're able to establish the resistance as a support, um, and but yeah, there's always going to be some type of retracement soon to come. I mean, we're at all-time highs. We have some of that stimulus injected, so we have a part of that sentiment looking into the market. And they said that's what President Biden said. The stimulus checks were designed to do what they needed to do, and yeah, we're seeing that right now. So just waiting on today, and anxious to see what it holds.
What would it take for you to be bearish? What sort of levels would you guys need to see to be looking for the downside? Or Shivam, how are you feeling, man? Are you bearish right now on all the sectors? What are you thinking?
No, not on all the sectors. I feel semiconductors, chips, they are definitely going to come back. And there's a reason for it because I think it was yesterday the AMD CEO was talking, was giving a media interview. And I felt kind of bullish when she talked like, hey, the shortage is directionally bullish because we have so much demand. And that makes sense to me because you have shortage when there's demand. And generally, when this kind of things happen, like if you look into the real estate sector, the construction sector, prices are going up because things which help in doing the constructions are not available, right? So that's where I'm thinking that I have a strong feeling that semiconductor sector as something might go up today or might go up against the trend if anything goes bearish.
How are you feeling about SPY and the Qs?
SPY, I told you, I'm going to wait till this 406, 409, honestly, because there's something which is just not making me feel comfortable, right? Like that it's practically not there that within 2 weeks we wiped out so much of the dollar value from the market and we are coming back on this upswing just based upon some momentum on the interest yields being down, CPI, all that stuff, right? Like if I just look from the micro perspective, the microeconomics of it, just not making sense to me that we reach 406, 409 and have a breakthrough, right? That's why I'm waiting for this mark. 406, 409 is my mark. If we go through that, I will turn into a bullish guy. Till then, it might be consolidation pattern. It might be something which is like, hey, we just had a great growth and market is now trying to rest a bit. Can happen. All of those things can happen. But none of these runs, if I don't look in my individual stocks, if I just look from the overall perspective of the umbrella, none of these runs are there which are like making me too confident that okay, things are about to turn completely green.
All right, let me draw a picture for you. Let's go on over to XLI real quick. So XLI, we've been trading in a range from last November between 84 and 90 for the past 1, 2, 3 for the past month, and really a month before that. We've had nothing but green candles moving up. We broke past that resistance, sitting at the all-time high. Don't get me wrong. Could I see a little bit of a pullback based off of how extended we are? Absolutely. However, the volume and direction, and we've seen it. The industrials are just heating up, to be honest, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I talked about cat and deer and some of those things. We've seen the airlines go, but airlines are still not completely recovered at all. And same with railroads, same with most of our transport, right? I've been talking about GE for a while and that merger with AER Corp or whatever for their jet leasing business. Talking about that $24 billion gain that's going to happen. And it's like, I still see plenty of room to run. Now, XLE, once again, I mean, this thing has the momentum of the gods right now, and we've been talking about energy sector trades. Our whole cyclical trade world has been going nuts. We've had a break of, I mean, we've had a break. We bounced off of our 20-day moving average. I mean, we've barely touched the 9. Every time we touch the 9, we're flying off of it straight up to the sky, right? And once again, do I expect a pullback? Yeah. I mean, if we look at our crude oil futures, we're down a little bit. If we look at Brent, we're down a little bit. But in reality, most of these companies, the price that they needed to be profitable was back down at $33, $40 for some of them, right? So I can see the crude oil price per barrel slip down a little bit and still see a lot of momentum in this sector. What else do I want to talk about? Financials. Sorry, that's what I was looking for. Financials, another sector. I mean, are we going to be bearish on financials? We've seen JPM, Goldman Sachs all have amazing quarters, right? Beat their earnings and continue to say that their guidance for the future is looking up. There's nothing that's going to stop that right now. And we've just been holding a pretty solid uptrend since February, to be honest. And even then, we had, a nice retracement. We held that retracement, bounced off of our 50-day moving average, and continued to uptrend. I'm not seeing the pullback story just yet in financials as well. Now, there's some other sectors that it's like we've been wanting to see them have this movement. I'm talking about consumer staples, right? And me and Chris were talking about our reopening trades. Mine were all like, Las Vegas Sands and Madison Square Garden, these sorts of things. He was like, yo, I'm trading Walmart. I'm trading Costco. And to be honest, I don't see anything wrong with that. The truth is, these are companies that have been beat down. And the thing is, during COVID, people were still buying food, right? It's not like we saw lines around the block for most Costco's. So I'm not really seeing that there's a downside. I'm looking to consumer staples and saying there's plenty of upside to be had here. Consumer discretionary. I mean, so I'll talk about the retail sales numbers in a second, and they are down. But with that said, I mean, we're seeing our consumer discretionary trades open up extremely nicely. All the things that are based on people going outside, there's been plenty of upside. These are the places that people are really looking to cash in on that value. And I mean, I can't wait for the time to buy Lululemon again. I'm wearing them right now. And then let's look over, and on top of that, we have this nice bullish momentum that's been happening. We definitely did. We've held our support. We went all the way down. We did touch our 200. We held the 100. We're coming back up, and I want to see us retest that 171 level, which we got rejected from in February. So if we hold over this 171, that will be completing the sectors that have kind of taken the biggest hit, which we consumer discretionary and tech. And now coming over to tech, I mean, we're seeing a similar storyline yet again. I mean, we didn't touch the 200, right? We held onto our 100-day moving average. We're coming back up. We're testing the 50 right now. And this is what I like to see. Now, we have broken our overall bullish trend that we've been carrying on since last November, and I'm not here to deny that. But I'm seeing a lot of momentum in the sectors, I guess is my point. And it's hard for me to see all of that and say that I don't understand the microeconomic situation behind what makes that happen.
I 100% agree with you, whatever you said. I'm just personally not ready, honestly. Maybe it's because I just burned my fingers. Can that be, that can be the reason of it. But whenever a bullish growth is just based upon, a bullish momentum can easily be trickled just based upon a person speaking, not even talking about interest rates, or a person not seeing exactly what the market needs. the sell factor can go up very quickly, right? So this is like, I completely agree with you. Like all these points are right, right? But as soon as a person, if your dependency of growth is based upon a person speaking and not talking about interest rates or not talking about inflation or just giving a passive comment on it, that means that underlying situation, right, is maybe a bullish momentum, but still needs some kind of strengthening to be done. There should be some more concrete that needs to be put into it. That's where I'm holding. Like if it crosses a 46409 for me, I am completely bullish.
No,
Hey, Elaine.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you too, but because I'm totally a trend trader, and I have learned over my time trading that sometimes, like one of the things that I tell my students is don't think trade, because sometimes you'll outthink yourself, and I used to do it to myself all the time, kind of semi where he was talking about just thinking like, oh, this market just, it's overbought, it need to be a pullback, it's going to be a pullback, and the market just keep on going up, and you miss out on some stuff just because you're really not paying attention to the charts. If you really look at the charts and like you say, the momentum is up, everything is pushing up, all types of signs is telling you that this market might continue to roll, and you just overthinking it sometimes because of your expertise. You just like, oh no, the market needs to pull back, it needs to recycle, it needs to do this or do that, and you just overthink the situation. So I mean, I try not to do that no more, even though I still do it sometimes, but I just try to go off of the charts and what it's telling me.
No, I'm with you, and I don't want to be the forever bull because you guys are used to me being the bear in the room anyways. So it's like I expect a pullback for energy. I don't expect energy to continue uptrending 10% a week for that's not how it trades. I'm looking at copper and seeing that downtrend. I'm looking at gold finally potentially making some level of reversal. So it's the cyclicals are in, and I don't want to just say I'm completely bullish. But yeah, I'm looking at the charts and seeing some things. We totally talked way too long in that section though. So I'd love to hear everybody's news. We had the retail sales numbers come in and we're down a negative 3% change from last month. And that has to do with lack of stimulus. That has to do with, we're not sure, to be honest, right? But does this change my overall economic outlook as I'm seeing people getting more stimulus now? No, it doesn't, to be honest. I don't think that a 3% pullback is significant in the long run of things. I think we're going to look at this on a yearly chart and call this a blip, to be honest. But those are the numbers, and it is important to say that. Some other news that I was kind of looking at, and I'd love to hear what you guys have as well. Let's see here. Alibaba. So President Xi Jinping wants regulators to increase the scrutiny of internet companies to identify potential antitrust violations. And specifically Alibaba, they pulled Alibaba and their dual listing IPO, which was 1/3 stake of Ant. And so it's really maybe going back and forth between Jack Ma's beef with the Chinese government and what's going on over there. I think that's a really big deal. We're seeing Baba shares down 1% in the pre-market. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is California. God, living in California is the curse that keeps on giving. So I've talked a lot about trading solar stocks. I do like these solar plays. I'm a fan of green energy, and I like to invest in it when I can, or at least trade it when I can. And California is proposing changes to the state's rooftop solar program that would increase the grid access fees and reduce compensation for new customers who install solar panels. And so this is going to affect some of the companies like Run, SunPower, Nova that have a large percentage of their customers in California, over 30%. So that's something I'm thinking about as well. Yeah. Another thing, just GE is that merger and the $24 billion, looking at what that's going to be doing to their debt ratio, which was up 30%. I mean, they had $75 billion of debt 2 years ago. We're up 30% to 54. I mean, well, they reduced it to $54 billion over the last year, and now they've just gotten a merge that has given them $24 billion more of capital. And so I'm really kind of bullish on this company right now. I've been trying to figure out exactly how it is they make their money and exactly why I think it's a home run, because they still are in so many sectors. But in the industrials world, I'm just looking for something that's going to give me the value and has a growth story, and I'm liking this so far. Who else has news? Ness.
Yeah. So what didn't really have too much news. I know that I was looking at um, the consumer reports down 3% for the month of February. So just waiting on the opportunity to. And I misspoke earlier. Sorry, I'm a little wavy. Just looking for that retracement of the gap down, maybe to 395 for the day. It's at 397. It just made the retracement today for the S&P pre-market. So just looking for the next headline. Just looking for something to push the markets higher, to give the consumer sentiment just a boost, right? I know the market isn't a reflection of the economy, and the economy isn't a reflection of the market, and news trumps all fundamentals. But I'm still just looking for the opportunity to, get in, uh, take advantage of the top down, and take advantage of the bottom going up. So,
Yep, absolutely. Christopher, what do you got for us?
So I've got a couple of things. We've got social media doing a couple of different things this morning. So Russia will block Twitter in a month if it doesn't delete the banned content. We've also got Instagram, which is jumping into a couple of, hold on, let me just make sure. Instagram will require everyone to be at least 13 as far as a new feature. Also, I saw Facebook will soon begin testing partnerships with a small group of independent writers for its new publishing platform. So we've got a lot of news surrounding social media. Also, for my Zom swingers, especially, if you got in on that call yesterday, True Former was supposed to drop on March the 30th, but they actually did their first sale yesterday to a Dr. Jason Berg in New York. And basically what the True Pharma vaccine, I mean, what the True Pharma technology is basically like taking your vehicle to get a diagnostic, but now you can take your pet to go get like a diagnostic checkup, and they can kind of detect things before things start to happen. So social media and Zom for me, that's stuff that I'm looking at.
Anybody else?
So yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I just was looking at Ford. They had some news that they're gonna be producing some electric vans in 2023, and it just looks like they've been just releasing a lot of news after that recall thing. And they also said that they expect to meet their previous financial guidance for 2021. So I think they're just trying to let their investors know that everything's okay, even though they had that big recall.
Nice. Shivam?
So yeah, semiconductors is what I was looking at. The AMD CEO, as I mentioned before, that was a good news. I think Nanix has demo or some kind of presentation today in one of the global seminars. So that might see more momentum going towards Nanix. That could be the other play. And I think in the night today, CCIV's CEO is on Jim Cramer show or something. And we have seen Jim Cramer yesterday after I was trying to pump CCIV.
Absolutely. Anybody else?
Oddly enough, all the news and things that I'm looking at, not necessarily to a specific stock, but so a lot of the news I'm watching is around the stimulus payments, right? And as a crypto trader, I'm just always looking because again, we've produced more money in like the past 2 or 3 years than we had in like the past 30 or 40 in a very short amount of time. And I'm just like, well, from a logical standpoint, where are the funds coming from outside of our printer, and where does the value stay? So with that, with looking at the value of the dollar against, the Bitcoin, I just kind of been looking at the news in that regards just to kind of see where I feel like the market's going to move, and then just recon on some ones I've already had. So when I think about the news, I'm always looking at like, what does the stimulus payment actually mean for the economy overall versus what it means for the short term payout.
Love that. All right. Well, with that said, we've kind of gone pretty hardcore. I'd love to get to a quick watch list. So let's go down the list. Liv, what are you looking at for the day?
Today I'm currently tracking oils. I kind of definitely want to get into a little bit of cheapies. For me, this is long-term investment, of course, as they go down. So what I'm specifically looking at would be ZOM is currently at 60. My entry point for ZOM is going to be 58. And that's just like watching it. My stop would be if it did
Sorry,
keep.
do you mean Zomedica or Exxon?
Oh, sorry. Exxon.
Okay, XON. Thank you.
Yeah, EXO. I'm sorry.
I was like, when does ZOM go up to damn 60? Jesus.
My apologies. Yeah, my stop would be if it dropped all the way down to 53. And then other than that, I am actually looking at soy. Believe it or not, I can't really give entry points on that because I'm still trying to figure out how it works. But that's it.
You're fine, man. Ness, what are you looking at for the day? Oh, she might.
Sorry, I couldn't get to my phone fast enough. But honestly, guys, I'm a swing trader. So yesterday I got into VC, which I think I talked about that yesterday. And it's a reopening play, and they own hotels and stuff. And it looks like it's moving in the pre-market. I probably would suggest waiting if you were interested in it, waiting for some type of pullback. And then I also hopped into a gamble yesterday with Elaine when I was on the phone, and I'm watching that as well.
I love that. I'll go for a broad base today. I'm so happy to see Apple's price starting to recover a little bit. I'd really love to see us, and we're sitting at 125 right now. I could become extremely interested in trading the stock again if we can hit that 127 level. We've had nothing but good news about how much their wearable segment has grown, different multiples that they're going to be getting into. I'm really excited. We've had a nice downtrend, a really nice pullback on Apple, and I'm wondering if people are ready again to start moving into some of our big cap tech players, this being one of the ones that I feel really comfortable trading. So yeah, if we can hold over 127, I'll once again really put this right back into my rotation. Kind of moving over to some of the other plays I was talking about in terms of like a reopening thing. I'm still interested in TAL education, to be honest. And I think that if we can hold over the 70 mark, I mean, we've got plenty of upside. We were sitting at 90 in February. And I don't see this, I really don't see a reason, especially as we move towards reopening. These people do both online education and in-person education with after-school programs. So I'd love to see us hold over the 70 level, and I'll be looking for 74 and then 77 in turn. And my stop loss is around the 64 level. So I'm really expecting like, $20, $30 of movement in the long term on this one. Fly, what are you looking at for the day, man?
I'm sitting on my hands right now. I'm gonna wait about 30, 45 minutes for the market to open, and then I'll put in the Discord.
Copy that. We love that type of energy. Siobhan, what are you looking at for the day?
So I'm going to continue looking at NX. I'm going to look at AMD and all the semiconductor plays. I think the other one I'm going to look today is Twilio and Apple. Apple has been sitting right there where I would like it to be. Premiums are not that high for me. So yeah, these are the four plays I'm looking into. Apple above 125, 126 would be, I think, amazing for me personally.
Yeah, we're at 125 in the pre right now. I'm with you. Rev, what are you looking at for the day, man?
Yeah, so looking at the day to repeat the same movement from yesterday, a gap down and then a testing of that resistance, and then seeing where we go from there. But I definitely want to get the opportunity to capitalize on that big price movement that happens around 10:30 Eastern Standard Time, or is that my time? Yeah, Eastern Standard Time. So, yeah.
Sorry, Rev, what ticker was that?
Just a spy. Just looking at the spy to retrace itself and commit those same movements around that 10:30 mark as well.
What levels are you looking for?
I'm looking for we were at 397, 396, 98 again. I would be comfortable with. I'd be comfortable with that 396.25 or to 396.25 would be something I'm comfortable at. All right.
I love that. Sorry, I don't want to rush you, but also next.
That's good.
Easy. What are you looking at for the day? Yo, that man changed his profile picture on us and got ghost. I feel you, Easy. All right, Kit, what are you looking at for the day?
All things petroleum. It seems like everything in that sector for me has been kind of on the rise. So just watching to see what that sector does. That's the main thing for me this week or today.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I've been enjoying our cyclical trades as well. David, what are you looking at for the day, man?
Honestly, I'm sitting out today. I got a real busy day ahead, so I'm just going to sit back on some of my swing plays and just see what happens for today, and then maybe I'll be hopping back in again tomorrow.
I love that. So, I mean, if you take anything, we have a fair share of different styles going on here. Some of us are looking in tech and growth. Some of us are looking in the cyclical sectors. Some of us are looking for reopening trades. Some of us are waiting. And I advise everybody wait, right? I don't trade first thing in the market. I wait to see how the thing shakes out too. And I appreciate all of you. So with that said, let's get prepared. I want to start today's affirmations off, as I start them off a lot of the times, with gratitude and thanks. I'm grateful for the people on stage who come up here every day and share what they've got going on with me, with us. I'm grateful for the audience that comes and gets value. And just because you're not here doesn't mean I don't value you. I get a ton of messages, and I appreciate what you guys tell me, and I appreciate the service that we're able to provide. Last but not least, I'm always going to be grateful for my account. And that is because that's our ticket to the show. I will always protect my principal. We will not trade based off of fear. Every entry will be based on a confirmation. We will not sell based off of fear. Every exit will be based off of the trading plan. Every time I trade, it'll be the right time. The spirit of every great investor and trader runs through me as I trade. Trading is easy. Trading is enjoyable. And I'm so happy and grateful for this opportunity to be in the market and to create generational wealth, not only for myself, but the people around me that I care and love. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. This is Stockhouse U, and we are out.